Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Saucepans and Sidestep podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Mr. HG Rugby, Hugh Griffin. Good evening, how are we?
Hello, I'm recovering, Mars, because I had what I thought was a bad cold, and I've since been advised was probably COVID over the last week. And I'm still not 100%. I do find myself running out of breath halfway through sentences, which, if you're a podcaster, is suboptimal, but people who listen to this podcast might actually find that preferable. So, we'll just take it as it comes. But most importantly, I'm not on my own. I'm joined by Thistle the Cat, who doesn't normally like being on podcasts, but he has decided to make an appearance this week.
Yes, young Thistle. Is it young Thistle now? It seems like Thistle's been around for a while, especially on this podcast.
Yeah, I think he's 4 in January.
4? Time to get a new one, but. All right, then. Have you been up to anything then, Bet, other than recovering from minor cold?
No, it completely wiped me out, this minor cold. It's my work has started enforcing cameras on in meetings. So if you're working from home, you have to have your camera on. Well, actually, if you're working from anywhere, you have to have your camera on in a Teams meeting. But working from home. So if I'd been like, if that rule wasn't in place, I probably would have struggled on through it for 2 of the days that I ended up taking off sick. But with the cameras on, you have to be sat there dressed, looking presentable on a Teams call and not looking like death warmed up, basically. I was like, sod it. So there you go. Having your camera on increases absences in work. So something to think about.
There we go on. We won't go into your employer, where you work, or the addresses. We'll leave that for another time. So,
how about you, mate? What have you been up to?
kids, more kids, school, kids. It's just all life is that. Especially now school is well and truly underway. Every single one of their activities is underway. They're 7 days a week with bloody doing something. I actually ended up hurting myself yesterday, which is fun with the girls' cheer. Bloody, they couldn't do one of their jumps right, so I decided, look. I remember how to do this one. It was just a basic toe touch, and my back isn't in the best condition anyway. And honestly, I've been limping proper bad ever since. I've come off a school run for 4:30, and I've more or less been lying down for the last 3 hours. I'm just in that state at the minute. I'm surprised I'm able to stay sat up as long as I am now. This is going to be you might see a bit of red come over my face from time to time when I'm trying to maneuver myself.
Speaking of reds, we're competing Scarlets jerseys today.
Yes, we are. I've got a fairly recent one, Macron, Oil for Wales.
Oil for Wales.
Both fairly out the window now, but yeah, it's a nice one. It's not too bad of a fit. I am a big boy, so it does seem to stretch around. Got a nice pair of breasts by you. You can see them if you're on the video feed. But yeah, it's like I like it, and you've got a more comfier fit Cougar.
I don't know if it's comfy. The thing about the Cougar stuff is I do like it, but I don't know if I could describe them as comfy. I'll be honest. They're a little bit itchy. The collars almost kind of turn in at the top.
Yeah.
Which isn't comfortable. But then if you do that, it just looks ridiculous.
So it's cotton. That's all the mat does.
I do like it, though. This is 2007 vintage.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that whatsoever. I believe we had a nice quarter-final European victory that year against a certain team.
I couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell me. You see this? Can you not tell me?
No, I can tell you that. Yeah, we got to Heineken Cup as it was then, semi-final, where we lost to Leicester. Did we lose to Leicester in the semi-final? Yeah.
Can't you remember the quarter-final? It was at Stradi.
No, you have to tell me, mate.
It leads into what we're actually doing on this podcast.
Was it against Munster?
Yes.
Ah.
Everything is linked to you.
Everything is linked. See, I could have claimed like I'd planned that.
Tut,
I
tut, tut.
absolutely did not.
He's a fool. He's only half a Scarlet, really. So anyway, so the season is now kicking back off. We've got some proper competitive, professional. I need to make sure I use that word professional rugby because the semi-professional game is, it's week 2 has just passed now, and boy, there's some crackers in that. Fair play. I mean, I'm enjoying SRC this year. You need to listen to the SRC podcast. Honestly, there's some cracking games going on there. But this is all about the Scarlets and the URC. So, what are we thinking this year? You were a lot better than I am looking at other teams' ingoings and outgoings. Who's done well in this market? Who do you think is going to be improving then?
It's a difficult one because I think coming into last season, there was a lot of teams who were coming into it thinking they needed to do better than last season, as in like 2 seasons ago. So a lot of people were looking up. And so kind of the vibe going into the URC last season was most teams, it was like someone's going to be really disappointed because I think everybody was backing themselves to better than last season. Whereas this season, I think there's a lot of teams looking to hold position. And I think there aren't that many teams who have taken big steps forward. Like if we keep it to Wales, I think the Dragons will be better this season. But whether that takes them to a playoff contention, I don't know. Obviously, you've got Connacht, have got Stuart Lancaster in. Ulster have made some signings. They've got new backroom staff. But apart from that, I think it's going to be pretty much a status quo apart from Clayton McMillan's in at Munster. And we'll talk more about Munster later. For us, talking about the Scarlets, I think that you won't like this, but I think kind of holding position sounds about right for us because we've probably, if our squad is probably a little bit weaker, maybe we'll go through the squad in a bit. I don't think it's massively better. I think that the players will have, because it's such a young squad, they've got another year of rugby under their belt. So you'd hope that most of them are going to be 1 year better. They're still all on the up. I think last season we got some surprise good results, but then we also let some wins slip. So I think that probably what's going to happen this year is that we'll win more games that we should win, but not win as many games that we shouldn't win. Like we're not going to beat Leinster or Bulls this season, for example, because we got them away. But the games that we let slip in the last 10 minutes, I'd like to see us see over the line this season. So I think we will maintain 7th or 8th is my prediction.
Oh, I think that's reasonable. That's very realistic. Like I'm not too much more optimistic. Like
Oh, really? Oh,
I
really?
I only think we're gonna finish first, and just walk everybody every single week. But no, I think 6th would be a good outcome. I think 6th would be progress, but that is looking at then our squad, what we've gained, what we've lost, and it's really a balancing act then on that front. I do agree with you. There's these majority of these players are a year better, especially the younger boys. Like the under 25 contingent, which Sammy is still
Our
he's still
entire
in that.
backline. Yeah.
Except for one really, really, really old man that just will not die. He's just refusing to let go. Fair play to the boy, and you gotta love him. He'll be 40 now before he retires, and if he keeps playing the way he did last season, more for it, just slightly less minutes, please.
Yeah. So come on. What's your other than first? What's your kind of worst case scenario? Mark's worst case scenario.
My worst case scenario, I think, is 8th. I think looking at where we are, looking at how the coaches have progressed, looking at how we've progressed as a team, I do think we can keep 8th as a minimum. I think that should be. I think we should be happy with 8th. If we retain it, anything less will obviously feel like a bit of a hit. We're back in top tier of Europe. We've got to stay there. So keeping that is success as we're going forward. progress would be an extra couple of steps up the table. And I think, my usual overly optimistic self, I'm going as this is that would be fair if I can't say we finish like fifth and be like, oh, we deserve to. I couldn't be upset with that. I couldn't be upset, finishing higher than eighth. I really couldn't.
Definitely not.
So if we're looking at the strength of our squad, and we all know majority of the Welsh regions, unless you're being, pumped full of secret cash by a certain capital city club every now and then, everyone is struggling for depth and strength of depth in that manner. So we just go through it nice and easy. So we start off.
Do you want to share the screen?
I don't want to share the screen because
why not?
It's my personal one. I don't.
It's just a list of Scarlets players.
It is, but it's cost. Oh.
It's got
let me
what?
just make
their names in it. We know who their names are, Mark.
Yeah,
but
publicly
available information.
I know, but I got other crap on the page as well. So let me just move that shit over a little bit.
Okay. Right, filler. Okay.
Filler. A lot of filler. It's not much. It's not much.
No, just got to kill time. Just got to vamp a little bit whilst you get your spreadsheet ready. And then
me and my little.
I've been very patient and waiting for you to fix your spreadsheet.
Aye. Stop whinging. I'm sharing the screen. Give me 5. Give me 5. I'm clicking the button share. We're on Zoom, so clicking window. I'm then clicking the window I want, and I'm clicking share. There we go. So, yay, it works. So if you see in column B, we've got the names of the players. You can see the information we got here. We got the club they've come from, their name, their date of birth, their actual age now, position, height in centimeters, height in meters actually, weight in kilos, and their last contract, which I will be honest, I haven't updated absolutely everybody. So if there's an error on there, my sincerest apologies. So looking at loose head, and I think our 23 pairing is bang on. I think
they're both fit. So it's obviously Alec, Hepburn, and Kemsley Mathias are our first choice, first two. Are they both fit?
As far as I'm aware, I think as far as I'm aware, everybody except for Ryan Elias and Eddie James is, fit for this block, at least. No, because I haven't heard any further news on Henry Thomas, which is one we will come to. So, assuming they are fit, our strongest 23 has those two. Obviously, people will have their preferences on what they prefer, etc., etc. But I think, especially with if Henry is starting, Henry and Kemsley have got to start together. Is the main one. I think them two
Alec
as a
and Henry
had
a hell of a partnership last season.
Yeah, they were awesome together. Fair play, and I think they do need to continue, which is just par for the course really. When they were just so amazing, especially that first half of the season, they were unstoppable together, which really left me scratching my head over last autumn with Wales. So but that's a different story, and that's long in the past. Now, running behind them, both Hepburn and Mathias, is Sam O'Connor. He's 23 years old. He's third choice. He was third choice last season. I mean, quite thankfully, Hepburn and Mathias were like 95% fit for the majority of the season, give or take, whatever they were out. And that worked well because, a 23-year-old prop, that's when you start getting filtered into your full games. It's the same as like, if you're looking over the border, the Prem Rugby Cup is really their friendlies or their development competition, isn't it? So that's where they let those players learn and advance. So it was really only last season we should have seen Sam maybe getting a few cameos, off the bench, his first appearances, but he got a fair few minutes more than that, and he is progressing, which is something I like to see. He was playing for Quins this past Thursday night, and I know Will Davis-King hasn't turned out as amazing as people had hoped. But you've got to remember he was still in the Rugby World Cup training squad in 2023, And Sock absolutely put him in his place. He just crunched him up and walked him back so many times. It was one of the better scrummaging performances I've seen from Sock, which was great to see. I think he can develop. I think he can develop into a really good squad player. Probably doesn't have, the ceiling of someone like Josh Morse, who was right behind him. But, he is that solid talent. I would prefer having another body in there just because he is that age. When you're traveling reserve, basically, what do we get? We get 22 guaranteed games. When you're like traveling reserve for, I don't know, 18 plus of them, it's just going to kill you. These boys need to be playing to gain experience, especially as a prop and a young prop at that. So personally, for their development, I would prefer it if we had an extra body in there just to act as traveling reserve. So, Sock could stay with Quins, and then, you can pick and choose what time these boys come into the main squad. Then when Alec or Kemsley need a rest, when you go, you're on the bench, you got your 30 minutes, this game and this game, and then you just move on from there and you just work it in slower. But unfortunately, that's not where we are. So I like Sock. I want to see him develop some more, but I'm really on the fence of how he's going to progress in his career right now when he's not playing as much as he really could be at this age. I've gone on a little bit too long with it.
Yeah, you've gone on. I know that you're a Sam O'Connor super fan, but you've spoken about him solidly there for about 20, 25 minutes. So
Yeah, I really have.
I guess in the other, you've got Josh Morse, who's down with Quins. Quins or Llandovery he's with?
Llandovery he's with, and Josh is one to keep your ear out for. He does have that high ceiling. He's a very strong scrummager, especially for his age. I think you'll remember you were talk with your interview with Kemsley, and he said Josh was benching something like 175 kilo. He is a very strong boy. He's a very good scrummager considering his age. Like, he's literally only 20 now. He turns 21 next month. That has been his forte when he was with the Wales 20s in the Junior World Cup. Under 20s, he's always shown himself as a good scrummager. But last week in the opening round of the SRC, he produced one hell of a carry that eventually led to his own try. And watching more throughout the game, you can see he's been working on his carrying. So he's one that could really, he might even jump up a place. That's how good this boy's developing. So those four that we've named there, I can see all four of them, playing a part this season. Behind them, we've got Tom Phillips, not the old back row, which I keep getting confused with looking into squads, which is quite fun because he's still playing with Quins. He's a young talent. He's coming through. He's looking well. He started getting some, more game time now this season with Llandovery as well. He was on the bench, I believe, this past weekend. And then we do have one more. I'm not sure if he's in the wider squad or not, but it's a Carmarthen Quins product. Will Davis, he's into his first year of senior rugby, so it's just interesting to see how he plods along.
Yeah, I know you like talking about props, Mar, but in the interest of finishing this podcast today, can we maybe add a bit of zip to this?
Nah, no chance whatsoever. Once we get through the front door, I'll go a bit slower.
Right, so tight heads, we've got Henry Thomas, Archer Holtz, who we haven't seen in a long time.
No, we haven't.
Hawk, who's back after a season off with an Achilles. Gabe Hawley, Yestin Cook, is that what that says? And then Cook, and then Jack Pritchard. So out of those, obviously, we know that Big Hezza T is his first choice. We don't really know much about Archer Holtz. He never played that many games. He had a great highlights reel and stuff. I guess for me, the questions are: how far along is Harry O'Connor with his recovery from his Achilles, and will Gabe Hawley be able to make the step? Because Gabe Hawley was thrown in the deep end a couple of times last season.
He was, and it was really unfair on him because even though he is 22, it was his first year of men's professional rugby. He'd been playing Bucks before that, so it really was a huge step up for him. But he managed well. You're right with Archer. He's only 25, but he's got a good history with some of the clubs he's been at. So you're thinking there's something to him, but where we're not getting him on the pitch, so that's the biggest worry. And Hawk, again, I'm a big fan of Hawk. I loved the way he was scrummaging. Obviously, cruel injury preseason last year, but he's literally a couple games back from an Achilles injury. There's no match fitness to him. He's he hasn't taken a proper load on his Achilles yet. That won't come until an actual scrum in a game. So there's still a lot yet to give, a lot yet more to learn. So a little bit concerned there. Archer could turn up and just be absolutely on fire. Get a run of 3, 4, 5 games. Could be amazing, and we could all just be laughing off in a pub having a pint. But until that moment, I'm a little bit reserved. Gabe, like we just touched on, he's definitely got the size.
Yeah. Yeah. First time I saw him, I was like, Jesus Christ, a house has just walked onto the rugby pitch.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6'3", which doesn't always play well for a prop, especially a tight head. If he can learn to get around that, then we're absolutely golden. At 130 kilos, you gotta love that. That's really what you want. Yestin Cook is really an unknown. He's come through the Exiles program. There's not a lot of information out there on him to be like what I could find when I was last looking. They've got him down to 6'4". I don't have his height in centimeters or meters, so that's where that one's a little bit of an anomaly. But he's been off with injury for a long time now. He is assigned with Quins, so might begin to see him at some point this season, which would be nice. Jack Pritchard, our last one then. I'm really excited about Jack Pritchard. He looks like everything to me. He is a perfect prop. He's got the body shape, he's got the look, and he absolutely loves the scrum. Watching him with the Scarlets 18s, Wales 18s, I think it was in the Six Nations Festival, obviously a year or so back, and it was only a couple of minutes into the game. Wales got a penalty. I think it was on around the 22 mark, and he was calling for a scrum. And it was just something I absolutely loved. So yeah, once we get a bit more information, I think tight head is fine. I think tight head is perfectly acceptable, and really strong if everyone plays at the level they're capable
Yeah, if
of.
everyone's fit, it's decent. I think Archer Holtz is kind of the unknown, and also is Harry O'Connor with his injury. So if Henry Thomas isn't fit, then I'm starting to think, oh, I'm unsure, just because I don't know where the players are at. That's just kind of how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah. So onto hooker then, and it's actually quite similar to where we are at loose head. We've got our 1 and 2 in Elias and the Llanelli Warthog, Manus van der Merwe, who is now a Springbok international and a Springbok 23 international. We got to say, because he is in our starting lineups. Well done to him. My only concern with it is some South Africans might find a pot of money from somewhere and try and steal him. But
well, everyone's
that's
bloody
not
linked to
happening.
him. Stormers have been linked to him. Saracens have been linked to him. Yeah, it's
They can all
depressing,
bugger
man.
off.
Yeah.
It is depressing, but they can bugger off. We should really sign him up for the next 10 years if we can.
The Stormers as a club are like that mate who's always asking you to like lend money, but then he's got a brand new BMW. Like that's what they're like.
Tells you enough. We're straight then. We're completely out of the first team squad then, and we're into our academy. So we only have 2 senior hookers. We've had the news today that Kirby Myhill has signed on a
Yeah,
short-term
because Ryan
contract.
Elias is out
Now, obviously,
injured and Manus is down with South Africa. That's the reward you get for intelligent scouting of a talented young player, is he gets picked by the best team in the world. And then Isaac Young and Harry Thomas. We felt like Harry Thomas had taken that third place spot, but then rumours that he was picked up a knock against the Dragons. So I really don't know who's going to start this first game against Munster, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really unsure as well. I'm not even 100% sure on where Isaac Young is because he hasn't featured in either of the preseason friendlies, I don't think either. Which, if I'm going off the top of my head, I can't exactly check my spreadsheet now while you guys are on here. If I am right, then that is a big worry. We do have a couple more boys on the wider squad, but they are, their first year men's professional rugby. You've got someone like Jake Bowen, who he's a Carmarthen Quins boy, but he's playing over at Narberth at the minute. He's had an appearance with them this season, and we've got Lewis Jones, who is I believe, from Tenby, and he's getting an appearance with Quins. So it's quite quite funny how that one's set up at the minute. But we don't have anybody ready for this first game, I don't feel. If Harry does have a knock, not very clear on where Isaac is. It's massively concerning. And for me, whilst Kirby was great for us when he came through our academy, he had a few appearances for us. He's been out in America for a couple of years, and their season finished 3 months ago, and it was only it was either today or last Monday he linked up with us, so very minimal training time. So I'm concerned on match fitness here, and this could be one position that does hit us a few times throughout the season. Like, I'm assuming Marnus isn't going to get back to us until Christmas time. Am I right in thinking that?
So the Springboks play their last game of the Rugby Championship against Argentina in London at Twickenham on the 4th of October. But then the Springboks kick off their autumn campaign, which he will probably be in the squad for again, obviously in November. So we might only see him for a couple of weeks in October, and then he goes back with the Boks.
I mean, if he's going to have a rest period straight after, it probably is worthwhile just
He hasn't
sticking
actually
him straight
played
in the
that
squad.
much, though.
Yeah,
I
but
think he's only played maybe one game in the Rugby Championship so far. So he is rested. This is my thing about I have a bit of a bee in my body about this as a topic, is because people think that because their team is playing, it means they haven't had a rest. But people don't actually look at the minutes that players are playing, because the truth is that a lot of players aren't flogged, even though their teams play a lot of games.
Yeah, but it's in terms of an off season for him because he hasn't had a break
No,
since
he's
the
had
end of
no
last
off season
season.
at all. No.
So that's where it comes in. He's just been constantly training. He hasn't had no season, hasn't had a preseason, so he is going to need something somewhere. And if that's the first fortnight in December, come back for, well, actually that'd take him straight into this is complicated. This is a really awkward position for us to be in, and I'm not happy about it.
Does South Africa pay the Scarlets for
And
Marnus?
no, because it's in their window.
It's a but it's a grey area though, because like Will Skelton's had to go back to La Rochelle. I think it's a grey area. I'd be interested to
it's the
know.
it's the gap weeks, isn't it? Same as with the Six Nations. When they play the tour, they have a week off. It's those weeks, that Will has had to go back, and I think we've seen some common sense in the fact that, well, if we're flying Marnus from South Africa back up here and then sending him down a few days later, that jet lag is just going to mess him up. So, you've got to think of the benefit. All players are assets. You've got to treat them like assets. What's best for them? So, even though, if we are playing a game, let's say he was playing in Munster in one of them week offs, possibly it would have made you to bring him back up. But, you've got to weigh up your pros and your cons. And, are you going to flog a player and risk burning them out? Because if you're training, 5-6 days a week, even if you're not playing, that's going to lead to burnout eventually.
Yeah.
So wow, this has been quite depressing start Quite a depressing start indeed. And we said that was done last week. Oh, terrible. Okay, on to lock. And we get to start off with a new signing. Yay, Jake Ball, the man of mystery. He has returned from down under to really
Returned from Japan. He's been. I was going to say he's
yeah,
been playing. He's not
he
been.
hasn't been in Japan a while. Yeah,
He joins us from Green Rockets, which is a Japanese second division team. Now I won't tell you about the level of the Japanese second division because I've not watched it. But what I can tell you is that Freddie Burns, the fly half, former England fly half, was the top try scorer in the Japanese second division last season. And Jake Ball was not getting selected for that team, coached by Wayne Pivac. He is unquestionably in great shape because we've seen some tops off picks for him in training, and he does look in good nick. He's clearly a man who takes his health seriously. I'm challenging Jake Ball to prove me wrong because I said when we announced his signing, I was like, this doesn't feel like we're signing a man at the peak of his powers. But if he comes in and he tears up trees, then that's me told, isn't it? So that's my challenge.
Yeah. Like in terms of Jake, I think we'd basically just getting the exact same player that we let go, what was it, 4 years ago? Because he hasn't exactly played a high standard of rugby. He hasn't played any rugby, for well over a year, which is an issue. But the way he's been looking after his body, he's got a few seasons left in him, and if he can get anywhere near to where he was, when he left, then that's outstanding. Obviously, rest of our boys, we've got Sam Lousy, Max Douglas, and then Jack Price as our senior locks. So, our three, if we talk about a match day 23, if we're moving around Ball, Lousy, and Douglas, I'm quite content with that. I'm quite happy with that. I think they can, match up with most on any day. It's then when we start looking more into the squad and rotation wise is when the concerns start coming in. Jack Price, squad play. It seems a squad player is the most he's ever going to be.
Apparently Albert van den Berg rates him.
Yeah, and that's all well and good, but we're not seeing much at the minute.
He's going to get game time because Max Douglas is still not fit, and then it's kind of between him and Jake Ball really, for who partners Sam Lousy. You got Will Evans is playing down at.
Will Evans hasn't played since the beginning of last season. He's picked up another injury again, which isn't great. There were some high hopes for Will, but injury has really hit him and hit him hard because they wanted him for Wales under-20s. They were hoping he would come through in the Six Nations. He didn't. They were hoping he'd be ready for the World Cup. He didn't. He was just about getting back a few weeks ago, and he's picked up another injury, which absolutely sucks for the young man. Next up, we've got a GOG in Dylan Alford. He's come from Bethesda, played RGC, Rugby Gothic Cymru last season. And I hadn't physically seen him play till this past week. He's a very slender lock, if I can say that much. He's got the height on him, obviously, but he needs to bulk out a fair bit. And I don't know how old these stats are. I think these stats are at least about a year old. But standing at what is 6'6", something like that, and being 94 kilos, that's just not going to do you as a lock. And you can physically see him. He's very slender. Next one is one of the more exciting talents we do have, and someone that was name dropped, I think, beginning of last season in one of the Meet the Coaches evenings, is Sam Williams. Now, he's a Carmarthen Athletic product. He missed part of Scarlets under-18s with injury and obviously Wales 18s from that. But he is a promising talent. He's been assigned with Carmarthen Quins. So I'm hoping to get some of him in, Super Rugby Cymru and see how he gets on. That would be first and foremost. But all round, it's when we're hitting these squad places in positions, that's when we start to worry.
Yeah, hooker and second row, I think, are the two biggest worry areas. Where if we literally pick up one injury, then it's starting to look a little bit.
Shaky.
Yeah, it's literally gets down to like for second row, for example, you get at least three in your match day 23. Obviously, we've been advocating for us to play 6-2. Max Douglas has often been deployed on at number 6, which has worked very well. I don't think we've lost a game with him starting at 6. So if you play Max Douglas at 6, you've literally got Jake Ball and Sam Lousy in the row, and then Jack Price on the bench, and that's it. That's all of your senior second rows.
So it's where we are. It's just part and parcel with Welsh rugby at the minute. If we look at our back row now, I mean, actually, we could probably put Kane or even Tristan Davis into the row if need be as emergencies. But
Yeah, because
that's
Fafita was another second row cover for us. So we've lost him, we lost Alex Craig, and we lost. Who else did we lose?
Morgan Jones and Ed Scragg have both gone.
Yeah,
So there's quite a few disappeared but there. But
yeah. With line out wise, I'm not that worried. Obviously, Hooker's throwing into line outs, but with Tane Plumtree, I think is the best line out Lucy in Wales, so that's fine. Jared Taylor can also play second row, I think.
he can, but it's a case of working in our line out. How when we're
Tristan
going to have one
Davis
or two
also
off them.
very tall. Tristan Davis like 6'3".
Yeah, he's there or thereabouts. I'm just thinking of options. It doesn't matter how good your line out is. If you've only got one man you throw into, it's going to be worked out. You know, that's probably my issue there. Although if you're talking 30 minutes end of the game, you haven't got much of a choice, and there's you haven't got much of a choice. So if we do go into the back row, obviously we've got Captain Fantastic, Josh McLeod. We got Dan Davis. We then got the aforementioned trio, Tane Plumtree, Jared Taylor, Tristan Davis. And we've also got then Ben Williams, who's turned out for the Quins last two couple of weeks. And if anyone watched the Thursday night game on S4 Direct, Quins beating Cardiff down at the Arms Park, Ben Williams, along with former Scarlet Sean Evans, were absolutely outstanding. And they were menacing at the breakdown. It was a real enjoyable watch for anyone who likes watching Cardiff lose. But so in terms of Scarlets wise, I think we're pretty good by here. I'm I think one or two injuries isn't a major bust.
No, I think second row. Sorry, back row. Back row. The thing about back rows is you've got at least three of them in your match day squad. Probably four. So when people go, "Oh, Wales, we've got loads of back rows," it's because there are loads of back rows, and because it's a high attrition position, loads of people get a chance as well. So it was nice to see the Scarlets confirm Josh McLeod as captain. Also I think they're putting out a tweet tomorrow saying grass green. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's good. Of did you? So there's Keanu Evans down there. You said that they're looking at Keanu Evans maybe as a hooker.
Yeah, trying to get an official line, but obviously he was playing with Carmarthen Quins last season, playing as a
Yeah.
seven for majority of it. And this season now he's appeared for M and Huw as a hooker. So he actually scored a hat trick, but we are talking Championship West standard, so that
Oh, right. Okay.
that's
I got
that's two.
excited for a second then.
That's
Be great
yeah,
if Tian Sparrow can continue his comeback after his layoff with illness.
yeah. He's
Um,
there as well with Am and Fudd. He's still playing. He's still fighting his way through. Uh, I think of these names, it is the bottom two, the younger two. It is Ocean Williams and Don Kasuth.
yeah,
I,
Dwayne Peel name checked Doncaster a year ago,
yeah.
saying he liked him.
Ocean Williams, obviously, they
Was
despite
he
there
born in
being
2007?
Dom Kossuth was, yeah.
Oh my God.
I know it's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, those two are the same school year, so they're both now in their first year of senior rugby. Oshan was actually playing back end of last season for Quins, starting for Quins, and there's quite a bit of belief that he is going to be getting some URC game time this season. That's the feel we're getting from the likes of Euros Evans, who's basically had these boys, whether it's Cigar or whatever part of the pathway. And Dom Kossuth, I mean, we saw him for the first time on, well, okay, I say we, in men's rugby for the first time last season, when I believe it was another S4C game where he came on as a 17-year-old. Obviously, he's got his first start last week. Done well, done it right. Nothing barnstorming, but you don't want players to be, come out trying to set the world on fire. You want them to settle in and really show what they can do once they're used to their surroundings. Also, even those boys, I think Oshan's capable of stepping up. He is one that has been kept with the Scarlets squad, with the preseason squad. He's not been released back to Quinn's. Ben Williams has been released back instead of him. So
Yeah.
that might tell you. And we saw what Ben did a few years ago when we had that major injury crisis. He was brilliant for us alongside Teddy Leatherbarrow. Long forgotten that name has been. So
Yeah.
so that just tells you with the thinking and what they believe in Oshan Williams. Okay, so that leads us on to our scrum halves, and
I'm
as
I'm feeling
always,
I'm feeling better about scrum halves this season because we got with Dane Blacker coming in. I think we've brought in someone because the issue was Dwayne didn't want to use uh, Evan Jones come hell or high water for whatever reason, but Dane Blacker is someone he's worked with before and trusts. So with Cowdor, Dane, and Archie Hughes, and Archie Hughes being fit from the start of the season, I'd like to think that we're in a more comfortable place with scrum halves with that three. I think that's a strong three.
yeah, it is a strong three, and you know, with Rodri Lewis in there as well, who is another one turning out for Carmarthen Quins. How many times am I going to say that today? Um, it gives us enough wiggle room so that we can give Archie some game time if obviously we do go down the same route where Cowdo and will be with Dane this time, take a vast majority of the minutes. He'll probably be more managing what Archie has to really integrate him properly, because obviously that did not go down well at all last season. Uh, I do think we need to pick up another scrum half where they're not as an academy. I know we had George McDonald from Llanddyfri training with us over in the summer. I'm not sure whether or not he's part of the wider academy, but we could do with looking again another young nine somewhere in there, because four just doesn't seem right for a whole squad, academy included, as a.
No, I don't know. If Cowdell's going to be fit for all but 5 minutes of the season, so then it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about my travelling reserves, who's not getting minutes elsewhere. I'm all about the young boys playing. We've been
Mm.
through this already. Okay, so on to the coveted number 10. And obviously, Sammy is on number one. He will continue to be on number one. We actually saw them employ Sam Hawkins as a 10-12
I think we'll
in
see that a fair bit
preseason.
this season.
We might see it right off the back, seeing as though Eddie James is out until at least November. So, that is something to really look at. Again, it's that third that we seem to have a lot of issues with. I got two boys named there. We got Steph Jack Jones, who is actually playing with Aberystwyth, which is I want to say that's Championship West as well. I'm useless for some reason today. And obviously Ellis Price, who was playing for Carmarthen, but Ellis is a convert from 12. He is still very early in his number 10 days. So I don't think either of them are really ready to step in as it stands. So we're really hoping on both of these boys staying fit all season long, which, given
Which
our
Sammy hasn't been able
history,
to do, has he? Let's just be honest about it.
yeah.
His
Well,
best
what
ability
was
is not
it?
availability. He's normally misses half a season.
Yeah, which really isn't great. And I think that could be one of our downfalls again, like it has been with Johan Lloyd for the last 2 years. We got someone who's not really a 10, running the show. There's, very minimal game management skills, etc., etc. I'm hoping Joe is a different 10 to that. I hope,
Yeah.
he like we said 2 years ago, I hope this convert can make a success out of it. The
Mm.
last one didn't. So into the centres,
Centre.
and
This is so getting into this area of the squad now. This is where we've got the stacked quality. So obviously Eddie James is out, but that just means that we're left with Johnny Williams
yeah,
um, at 12, which we're very happy with. And
yeah,
like you said, we've got Joe Hawkins who can slot in there as well. Joe Roberts obviously nailed on at 13, best 13 in Wales, one of the most talented players in Wales, full stop. Max Page, whether you want to class him as a centre or still as a winger, I'm sure we'll see him at 13 this season. And then Gabe McDonald just seems to be the chosen one in the academy, doesn't he? Because he seems to be the one who gets the most game time out of anybody who's not a Welsh
yeah,
international, which all the rest of them are.
yeah. He seems to be involved starting majority of friendlies, development games, whatever you call them.
Has
He's a
been for about
mainstay
18
there.
months.
Yeah, he has, and if if you just look there at the dates of birth, he's the same school year as Max Page. So, we know Max is a very young boy. Gabe is a very young boy as well. So, still there's always time for development there. There is another centre who you love his name, Griff Watkin. You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Blue scrum cap.
you yeah, you've got to love a name like that. He is now, firmly in our senior academy, so he'll be developing and coming through as well. Even with our injury to Eddie, obviously we do kind of have to use Joe a little bit to make ourselves feel a bit more comfortable. But centre is stacked. We've got three incredibly talented centres who are already pushing to be international superstars, if not already one.
Yeah.
Johnny and Joe in that case, and then we've got someone like Max who is showing that he's got so much raw ability, and he's learning, and he's learning very fast. Obviously, he didn't get capped in the summer, but you can understand why, given the way the result went. So then we're on to our back three, and we've got the man that is never going away, and that's Johan Nicholas. He's he is that squad man. I imagine he's that type of guy that just he's always he lifts everyone around. He just seems like that type of person. You just he's just there, and you're happy to have him around.
Hmm.
Obviously, we got Tommy Rog, Tommy Lewis, Blaine Murray, Ellis Me, who's still an academy player, which is just
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Uh, I've only put two more academy players in there. So Jack Davis was one who was potential for breaking through last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ellis took his place, and one that we've signed in Johan Jones, a former England under 20s fullback. So that's
Stacked.
that's
Yeah.
comfortable, and that yeah, and that's without looking at the other players we got. We got Yori Badam, who took a nasty injury just before the under 26 Nations last year. He should be due back hopefully around Christmas time, and he was looking really solid then. Sean Jones is a new boy into the senior academy. Thomas Williams, who scored an outstanding try for Quins against Cardiff, and that name comes up again. And yeah, so literally, once we get past the halfbacks, we are absolutely laughing. And I wouldn't mind trading one or two of them for a tight five forward. I don't know about you.
Well, obviously I love them all, but if I let's just say there's one area where we're maybe a bit over resourced and one area we're a bit under. Blair Murray also young player of the year or breakthrough player of the year for Wales, and so congratulations to him. And I think Tommy Rog quietly top 5 Welsh players last season. And if you look at how he finished The test year, playing at outside centre for Wales in the first test victory in 20-odd games. Just a big fan of the boy.
Big fan. We're all big fans. For those on video or audio, whichever one I'm trying to talk about, I've tried to push my hair behind my back about 20 times. It just does not want to go today. Oh, this is such a tough life being a podcaster, trying to make yourself look tidy for TV. So that is the rundown of our squad. So even saying that, I do think we are looking at progress this season, because I think the coaches are playing an equally important part. I mean, last year was the first time we had actual continuity in our coaching staff, and look what happened. I'm hoping it's for me, it's you're building on ideas rather than starting from scratch.
I just feel that, especially in the Type 5, we've got, if we get 3 injuries in the Type 5, then we're starting to panic.
Especially for the same position. Then yeah.
Well, I mean,
they are.
Say we lose Henry Thomas, we're already in the situation with hookers. So if we lose Henry Thomas and Sam Lousy, we're in a tricky situation.
Depends how long we're losing them for. I've got full belief that whatever this issue with Archer Holtz is going to be resolved. I do, even though I'm saying that with a bit of a quiver in my throat. Hawk is Hawk. He was I think I said early doors last season before he got injured. He is where exactly where Henry Thomas was at his age. He's got that technical aspect down. He's just got to get the experience and learn how to really use him more. So yeah. So that does lead us into the actual game. That's
we're not doing community this week.
You want to do community now? I thought we were going to finish with that. Okay, I'll run through it quick. I'll run through it quick because we spent a bit of time. We spent a lot of time on this already, and I would probably end up talking about Quins for about an hour otherwise. So here we go, my nice little screen. Starting SRC nice and quick. So Quinn is obviously smashing Cardiff 36-33 down a cap. We had Sock, Ben Williams, Rodri Lewis, Ellis Price, and Thomas Williams all start there. It was the final kick of the game that won that through Ellis Price. Llanddyfri 34-31 winners at home against Swansea. Another last kick of the game win, but there. We had Dylan Alford, Don Cassuth starting, and Tom Phillips on the bench. Quins now welcome Pontypool, and Llanddyfri are welcoming RGC this coming Saturday in what is the first of the double header rounds that we will see this season. Into the Premiership.
Oh, sorry, shout out RGC as well. They got a good result, didn't they?
They did. They beat Pontypool at Pontypool Park 23-14. Honest to God, that was huge. The fact that RGC got to travel down 4+ hours for every away game. They're going to Pontypool Park, which obviously is a different surface. It is the worst. It's the worst pitch in the league. It's unfortunate to say that, but one of the 10 has got to have it, and it is Pontypool. So for them to come out and just grind out that win the way they have, absolutely brilliant. Brilliant for the league, brilliant for everyone involved.
Magnifique.
Not quite as magnifique as Quinn's smashing Cardiff at cap. Okay, into the Premiership, Llangennech 19-27 losers at home to Pontypridd. Now that is a much better result from them compared to last season. Narberth seemed to be on the rise, 21-17 winners at home against Cross Keys, who made the cup final last season, if we can't remember. And then we got Llanelli Wanderers in their first season up here, 13-6 losers away to Asad Ronda. Respectable result. It's now cup week, so majority of these fixtures will be cup. I will make sure to make a note of that. So Llanelli Wanderers are hosting Narberth, and Llangennech are hosting Merthyr. Into Championship West, Aberystwyth losing 7-14 at home to Dunvant. Ammanford 62, Crymych 24. You can't be too happy about Ammanford winning because Crymych lost. So there we go. And Tondi 27, Newcastle Emlyn 19. I'm hurt a bit by this. Both 3 tries apiece. 3 tries apiece. Just a bit of extra kicking, got Tondi over the line. Tondi were pretty good outfit last season, so hopefully Newcastle Lemon will be there or thereabouts to get themselves back up. So into the cup, Crimich will travel to Kenvig Hill, and Newcastle Emlyn are hosting Glenheath. Division 1 West, we had 3 games postponed due to weather. So the results we have got Verlin Vole drew 23 all at home to Swansea Uplands, and Buryport 131-17 away to Lampeter. Division 1 Cup now, Verlin Vole are travelling to Aberavon Green Stars, Kidwelly at home to Skewen, Larne at home to Abercrave, Hendy travelling to Nantivillon, Tenby travelling to Swansea Uplands, and St Clair's travelling to Ystrad Ginlais. Division 2 West results. Aberaeron won 14-12 at home to Loughra. Carmarthen Athletic 28-0 winners away to Nancaredig. That's a local derby that's going to hurt. 28-0 away. Oof. I can see Nancaredig now want to repeat that when they make the short turnaround later on in the season. Ponta de Lice 21-10 winners away to Pencloud. To Croyce 12-10 winners at home against Fishguard. Whitland 22-13 winners at home against Betters. Some fixtures in this league next week. We've got Fishguard at home against Betters, Nancaredig at home against Whitland, and Aberaeron travelling to Ponta de Lice. To West Central, they are back. Brennaman are finally back on my table. 22-6 winners away to Brinkethin. Go on, boys. Go up the greens. In Division 2 Cup, Brennaman are travelling to Mumbles, and to Croyce are hosting Loughra. 3 West, Tumble beat Arm United away 34-10. Halford West 15, Llandilo 6. Hugh's New Dock Stars 15-3 winners away against Milford Haven. I'm gonna say yes because let's just say yes.
Beautiful.
Neyland 30 points to 10 winners away to Narberth Athletic. Trimsaran winning 22-16 at home against Cardigan. 3 West fixture this week. We got Neyland at home to Armagh United in Division 3 Cup. Hartford West are travelling to Brinkhook. Llandilo travelling to Carmarthen. Narberth Athletic are hosting Resolven. Milford are travelling to Tom Mowd, and a bit of a local one, Trimsaran at home to Tumbo. 4 West A, Pembroke Dock Quins, 38-5 winners over Llanybudder. Pontyberem, 36-5 winners over Dreigiau Emlyn. St David's, 36-17 winners at home over Langham. And Tenby Athletic, 41-10 winners at home over Pembroke. Fixtures this week, Tenby Athletic travelling to Tyrrell Crimich. 4 West B, Kevin Nathan winning 27-19 away to Binya. Furnace 50-10 winners at home against Penderbank. Llandibby losing 16-23 at home to Fallbay. Llangadog 46-3 winners at home against Pontiates, and Pantyfynon 19-0 winners at home to Tregaron. Fixtures in 4 West B, Llangadog at home to Furnace, Pontiates at home to Pantyfynon. Division 4 Cup, we got Binya at home to Dreigiau Emlyn, Llangam at home to Pembroke, Penderbank travelling to St David's, Llanybudder travelling to Kevin Nathan, Pontyberem at home to Llandibby. And the Dewar Shield is back in action this week. And the big one to talk about is Llanelli against MMAD in the Dewar Shield West Conference. It's at Hendy, Friday night, I believe, 7:30 kickoff. It's not quite winner takes all, but they're both 2 from 2. They both look like they are the ones that are going to be looking to head up this table and go into the knockout stages with a real good hand to go all the way to the final and win it. So get down there if you can. It'd be great to see if Llanelli current bowl champions or Mynydd Mawr current plate champions are able to jump up and go all the way.
Great stuff.
Great stuff. Okay, now on to the game this weekend. Munster at the Park.
Yeah, not much to preview. Normally, once we get into the season, we'll be doing some stats, we'll be doing some reviews of how they played so far. Unfortunately, can't do that because no one's played any games yet. I couldn't even tell you how Munster did in their pre-season. Sorry, everybody, I didn't Google it. So
they played games.
They played games. Pre-season means nothing. So, I guess, what's your favourite game against Munster?
I mean, I do like the one I referenced to earlier, the Heineken Cup quarterfinal back in 2007. That was a nice one at Stride. I think it was like
one of our many quarterfinal wins.
Quarterfinal wins are, just like pocket change. We find them everywhere.
Mm.
It's the semi-finals we need to work on. But yeah, how can anyone forget the Pro 12 final over in beautiful Dublin, where we spent 2 lovely weeks showing the Irish provinces how it's done, except we forgot how it's done and they copied everything we were doing. Damn. Uh,
No, they didn't, because no one's ever copied the 2017 Scarlets.
they've
But
tried.
one that sticks in my mind, kind of like I think the last time we played Munster on the first game of the season was the game where we didn't score any tries, but Lee Halfpenny kicked 9 penalties
Oh,
and
I think
27. And then Ben Healy, who now plays for Edinburgh / Scotland, kicked one from about Aberystwyth to beat us in the last moment of the game. And I was gutted.
yeah, there's lots of really good games against Munster. I mean, more recent than that, I think it was during the Six Nations. I think it was Johnny Williams' return or recently coming back. It was like we lost 49-42. It was just an absolute epic try scoring affair. I think it was
That was Johnny Williams made a comeback in that game. He'd been out the whole season or most of the season up until that moment, came back and came off the bench in the
it's half
second
time.
half. And it was something like 40-0 down at half time. Ended up losing 49-42, something like that.
It was an epic game. That was fair play. I've still got it. Like you know what these games do to you. You can just
Yeah.
one little whiff and it takes you straight back to it. Like I'll be honest, I'm still thinking I've got Cubby's trying that final now ingrained into my head. Just watching him just pick our ball up on the floor and just basically jog in.
Yeah. And the commentator said, "Score a try, you deserve it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So main thing I want is last year I know they've won it. It was here to compete. I think they said it was. We've got to turn the park into a fortress, and obviously we the fans have got a part to play in that. But I think that's got to be one that we really stick to. You know,
Mm.
I don't think there's a team in the league that we can't beat at home. There really isn't.
Well, who's the hardest home fixture that we're going to have? Because we're going to have Glasgow at home in the league. I think that's probably it, because we've got Bulls and Leinster away. We have Sharks at home. Sharks don't tour well. We've got Stormers away.
No, Stormers at home. Third
No,
game.
Stormers away.
Stormers
We had
home.
them at home last season.
Doesn't matter. It's a new cycle. Lions and Sharks.
I'll be
Probably,
honest, I don't get this whole cycle thing. People act like they understand it. I don't understand it.
yeah, it's every 2 years you play them. You play everyone home once, everyone away once, and then they flip it up. So we got Stormers and Bulls home again.
Right, okay. So Bulls are the hardest game then.
Yeah, Bulls are the hardest. Then probably Glasgow. When are the Bulls? Bulls are before Champions Cup semi final. Oof.
They're not going to be in the Champions Cup semi-final.
No,
We've
I
got more
know.
chance of being in the Champions Cup semi-final than they do.
That's what I was about to say. No, we're probably gonna have to rest players for that game. Oh no, it's Cardiff the week before. We can rest players for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I look. You know, I'm very much full of confidence when it comes to talking about us.
Well, it's going to
And
be a good atmosphere by all accounts, because obviously there's a bit of, I don't know if people are aware, there's a bit of angst in Welsh rugby at the moment. And there's going to be the march before the game. Would tell people about the march?
yeah, there's a march from the post down Sandy Water Park. We'll get the more finer details for you up on socials so that you can see it, because I think it's like a 1 o'clock or 1:30 start down there. Obviously, you can guess from the time, when we've got a 5:30 kickoff, it's going to be a very slow pace, possibly a couple of stops in a few pubs. I think people might be meeting up at the halfway at around 4:30 as well. So if you're only there for the end journey, for that final walk to the park, make it feel good. Just get there. Then that's worth it, because I've done it. I've lived on the Austradi site. I've done that walk plenty of times when the missus has gone out to work and I've bloody not had the car. The amount of times I've done that trek to the park is too many to count. So it's a very doable walk for anybody. But it's really important, especially time constraints for everyone. If I am right, it is around the 1:30 start. We get people don't have that much time in their day to go to the match on top of that. But if you can get to the halfway around 4:30, just to walk in with everybody, that would be big enough. That would be amazing. Just for the cameras that are there to see everyone together, that would be absolutely amazing.
For sure. Hopefully, a big crowd in the stadium as well.
Yeah, 15,000. I heard. We're full. We're sold out. Sold out every day with my ego when it comes to the Scarlets. That's what it is. So obviously
Mark's up in Scotland, but his ego is taking up space in the park.
Always the same. Always the same. So predictions are not really any good this time of
I've
year.
got no data to go on, Mark, other than the
That's what
Scarlets
I'm
are the best team in the
saying.
world. So Scarlets by 10.
Scarlets by 10. Ooh. Oh, I don't want to. Scarlets by 11. I'm being tactical here. And
Okay.
this is a shout out to the man formerly known as Pringle. You're expected back next week. We got a home game. We want to hear what it was like.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Huw, for being here and talking shit with me for another hour and a half. I know the pod hasn't been an hour and a half, but Huw decided to not charge his laptop, so we had a bit of downtime. We had a fair bit of downtime. But thank you all for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Get us to 3,000 now. Have we at 2,000 yet?
Yeah, we hit 2,000. We did.
Woohoo! 2,000! Yay! That doesn't
Hype
look
the
right on
video.
camera. Hype the video. I don't know what it does, but apparently it's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you all for listening. And if you're listening on audio, just click on YouTube, press hype.
Yeah, if you're listening to this in the car on the way from work, on the way to work, or what a lot of people do is listen to half of it on the way to work, half of it on the way back. Just a favor, when you get in, watch it on YouTube.
You don't have to watch all of it. Just find the hype button and go hype.
You do, because YouTube marks you on how long people watch for. So watch the whole thing.
Stick it on when you go in the shower or something.
Put it on times 2 speed, put it on mute, and put it in the don't care. Just watch it. Thank you.
Anything for an extra view. Yeah. It makes you think that maybe his channel has taken a dive recently. I don't know. I'm joking. Always messing. Again, thank you all for listening. We'll be right back here next week to talk about some competitive Scarlets rugby that we can all watch and all enjoy together. Good night. See you next week. Bye-bye.